The reason most businesses fail is they're so focused on the product that they're not focused on the monetization strategy.
All right, we have a good one here today with Justin Padron from Neo Home Loans, and this dude is really good. He's got this calm demeanor about him, and confidence, which I loved. So he's going to talk a lot about like case studies, which I think is super important. His business structure, how he has his internal team structure to be able to produce the volume that he does, and circle of cash flow, how he uses that to grow his business. I think you're going to like this one. I hope you guys enjoyed as much as I did. All right, here we are. Justin Padron from Neo Home Loans, and I'm super stoked because Justin's the man over here. He has done not just a ton of volume, but he does it with class. At least, Justin, I mean, you appear like this classy dude to me. I saw you up on stage. I've been following you on social media, and I really loved how you presented yourself and what you believed in. So that's why I wanted you on the podcast. And first, welcome. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you, Dino. I appreciate it, man. Appreciate the compliment, the kind words. Always have had to, I've always tried to kind of have that, humility with anything, whether it was sports related or business related or whatever. Always want to try to be, very grounded and really just appreciative of everybody that's a fan and along the way. But
Yeah.
thanks for having me on, man. I appreciate that. It means a lot.
Yeah, and in our industry, that's a big deal. There's not a lot of humility, and I love seeing the higher level guys, you know, expressing how they are and leading the way with how business should be done, right? It's interesting because in your bio, you have you're here to empower and equip. Let's see, what is it? Uh, Educate hold on, I'm gonna find it here. Oh, here it is. Simple yet powerful to educate and empower families to make confident, well-informed mortgage decisions that support their long-term financial goals.
Yeah.
And our mission statement that so I'm not producing anymore.
Okay.
So mine was like that when I was producing, but now that I'm trying to grow the company and I'm trying to do it through hiring mortgage advisors, my mission is to empower, educate, and equip mortgage advisors the way lending should be done. Because I figure if I can do that, then it'll multiply to how it gets out into the general public. And that's really what we should do. We need to be treating our clients like family, like the way we would treat our family, right? So
Yep.
I'm really excited to get into it with you because I know you do that. So let's just start, man. If you don't mind, let's just jump right in.
Yeah. Let's
First
do
and
it.
foremost, who are you today, both personally and professionally?
Ooh, I'm a husband number one, dad number two. I'd say coach number three. Sports is extremely important to me. My kids are busy. Football and baseball just got done wrapping up fall seasons, and I coached three out of my kids' four teams. So Monday through Thursday this year, man. In the fall, it was every day, Monday through Thursday from 5 to 7. It was on the practice field. But I love it. I wouldn't trade that for the world. And then fourth, man, I'm a mortgage advisor that cares about families and cares about people accomplishing what they want to from a home standpoint where they live. It's extremely important to me, and it's not just talk. It's I can back that up. Yesterday we just housed or held our big Christmas party that we do every year, and we actually invite people to our home, clients that we've worked with, and man, we had about 350 people to our house yesterday to take Christmas pictures with Santa, and all the looks on these little guys' faces just walking up like, Santa, and it's like, yeah, I do. He's right there. I invited him because I wanted him to meet you, right? And getting to build those relationships and those connections with those kids, I'm sure hasn't happened yet, but I'm sure 20 years from now, 25 years from now, I'm going to be helping them buy a home too.
How old are you, man?
I am 37.
All right. So you got 20 years left.
Easy, easy. I
Easy.
better knock on wood, but I better have 20.
All right. So here's what comes to mind when you said that. Um, Obviously, in today's world, virtual is a thing. We can do business from anywhere. We don't have to be tied to our community. But for you to have 300 people at your house, that means you have a real community presence. Is the
Big time.
majority of your business within arm's reach, or do you do business everywhere?
Yeah, great question. Majority right now is all right here locally in the DFW. every now and then we'll go down to San Antonio or Houston or Austin, if a client's getting relocated or moving. Had a client reach out this past weekend and they weren't able to make the party, but they're moving from Austin and going to Las Vegas. And they were like, hey, can you help us there? And it was like, yeah, we can. So we can do loans wherever. We're licensed in, I think, probably 8 or 9 different states, but inside the organization, we have kind of an internal lending group, if you will, where we don't really, discuss rate and all that stuff, but we'll kind of stay there to kind of help hold hands and move people through the process. But yeah, we can lend anywhere. And majority of my business is right here in my backyard here in the Dallas Fort Worth area.
Nice. I think it's important. When I was producing, it's funny when everybody wanted to do loans in all these other states and all they cared about was what states were approved in. And I was like, man, why do you care? There's more money within arm's length of where you stand at all times. The community that you can build by being nearby, the
Yeah.
relationships, I think they're more powerful than anything else. I get being able to do loans everywhere else, and I get all that, but I think there's gold right around the corner.
I'm with you on that. I think there's two kind of trains of thought on that, right? And I wouldn't say one's right, one's wrong, one's better than the other. That's not the case. It's independent to the originator. I think, if you wanted to be kind of an average loan officer in 50 states and you do 2, 3 deals a year in those states, it's 100, 150 deals. You can make good money doing that. For me, I love the relationship aspect of this. This is it's a unique investment that people are buying. It's a very large investment that they're making. And I feel like when people come to us, a lot of times they don't understand what that means. And so that's where we get to really step in, especially if you think about kind of the last 2 or 3 years. There's been a lot of confusion, a lot of chaos, a lot of misunderstanding. And it's not the client's fault, but that's where the opportunity is for us as an industry, as mortgage advisors, to really step into that role and be the guide that families need. And so, for me, this business isn't a numbers game, a money game. It's really how impactful can we be? How impactful can the conversations we have with families, like, can we change the trajectory, the course of that family's life with the guidance and advice that we're giving? And so, um, that's how I look at it. I didn't always do that. I didn't always start that way. When I very first got into the business, it was because as an originator, you can make doctor and lawyer money. Straight up. That's why I got into the business. But as I've learned, as I've grown, as I've developed, as I've listened and studied and watched, your top producers, that's not the approach that they had. It wasn't the money part of it. It was more, I want to be the most impactful person in this guy's life or this family's life, especially in terms of finance and real estate. And so anytime those, objects come up, my goal is hopefully the families that I've gotten to work with, they remember me and think about us when we do things like that.
Out of curiosity, you just said something that I've never asked this question, but I think I'm going to start asking it more often.
Yeah.
Uh, how long have you been in the business?
8 years.
8 years. And who have been your biggest mentors in the business?
Ooh, Ryan Grant, number one. First and foremost, he's a tremendous human. Love him to death. I'm not in the position that I'm in as an originator without him. Chris Ledley, number two. Jonathan Doddridge. Jonathan is
Know him. Is he at Neo as well?
He's not. Jonathan was one of my first branch managers that I worked for, and he's one of my best friends still to this day. Consider him a big brother. Anytime I have questions, he's somebody that I would definitely pick up the phone and call. Super, super, super bright, very knowledgeable. Um, and I just, the reason why I left his branch is I wanted to go out and run my own.
Yeah.
And Jonathan was one of those guys that slapped me on the back and said, "You're going to be successful. Go do it." And so always be thankful for him. Um, Shayla Gifford, another one of my favorites that I've loved to listen to over the years, and then Jeremy Forcier. A lot of the names that most people know. I'm lucky in that I've actually had an opportunity to build relationships with those folks, and they've taken an interest in me and helping me, and super appreciative of that.
Yeah. Yeah. Ryan, I interviewed Ryan, and he was in my backyard for a long time. I made a little bit more money after he decided to leave, which was cool. The the dude was a total animal. I mean, my gosh.
Total animal. That guy
Just
is fearless, not afraid to go anywhere, do anything, talk about what he does. And his approach is one that I've really tried to adopt into my business. I remember sitting back in 22. when I was at a different company, and I got that inevitable phone call on a Saturday. Somebody wants to get pre-approved, and I know this has happened at multiple originators in our country, but um, fully pre-approved them, help them get their offer accepted, and then Monday, you get the phone call of, "Hey, we love you. Thanks for all you did, but my bank is an eighth of a point cheaper, and we're going that direction," right? And I remember that feeling of like, "Man, am I a commodity? I hate this feeling. There's got to be a better way and a different way to do this." And um, that's when I went down the rabbit hole, started searching, started learning, saw a video that Ryan had posted that I really resonated with, and reached out to him. And the rest is history. That was kind of April of 22, and then August of 22, I joined Neo, um, and been there ever since.
So I'm kind of curious. You saw it in April 2022, and what took so long for you to go over there?
So, great question. This is something that always makes people laugh. I interviewed probably 25 to 30 different companies.
Wow.
Um, I felt like this next move for me, I was tired of moving. I'd been in the industry, got in kind of the latter part of 2017. I was a broker to start. I went to another company, was there. Um, they didn't feel like I was ready to become a branch manager, and I disagreed, and I said, basically, "Watch, I'm gonna bet on myself." And so I did, and, when I got that commodity type feeling at the next shop, it was like, I wanna look and see if there's something different out there, and I just don't like moving companies. And
Yeah.
so I really felt like, with this next move, I really wanted to be certain that it was the right one. Um, and after talking to everybody, 22 of the 25 companies or whatever sounded the exact same. 3 were a little bit different, and Neo is one of those. And then my wife and I, we took a Neo day. We flew out to California, met with the guys. Um, and then I remember getting back to the hotel. She looked at me and she's like, "You're coming to work here. Like, you don't have another choice." And so I had kind of felt that way too, with just that, the way I got along with those guys, the way that we spoke. It felt like a natural fit for me.
Yeah, that's awesome. So, dude, how much do you do in business right now?
We're gonna be just shy of 70 this year, 70 million. We'll probably do 135, 140, 142, something like that transactions this year.
Okay.
Some of that's refi. I would say we're probably 85-15 purchase to refi right now.
Yep.
Um, but refis
And
are
what are
coming back.
and what does your team look like?
So I've got a upfront loan partner. Her name is Reese. Reese helps me with kind of calendar management, scheduling appointments, managing email, communicating back and forth, handling text messages, and kind of doing the front end of things, getting applications in the door. She always picks up the phone and calls. I don't ever send a link out for people to fill out an app. I feel like that's a way where we can kind of differentiate ourselves, and she does an excellent job up front. I've got a credit analyst. Her name is Trisha. She's out of Houston. She's been one of the key cogs of what we've been able to do. She's extremely talented, and super grateful to have her on the team. But she essentially, when the file comes in, make sure all the documents are in, make sure the file is fully pre-approved. And she does it extremely well. I've got a loan coordinator, essentially a processor. Um, Her name is Lisa, and she's been with us, I think, for probably 9 months or so. She's done an excellent job taking things from contract to close. And then I've got a customer success manager at the end. Her name is Jamie Farrell. Jamie's, responsible for making sure that post closing happens. Set up for first payment, any tax or insurance issues with escrow accounts, any servicing transfers, making sure that we can kind of fulfill that commitment that we have to our families that they're never going to overpay on their loan. Uh, Excuse me. And then she'll also connect families with CPAs, estate planners, financial planners, um, as something that we offer. Not necessarily in house, right? But just making sure we kind of build that family office around each family that we're getting the opportunity to help.
Okay, so let's break this down a little bit. Um, Old school, right? It's been 28 years for me, and that's how I grew my business with Todd Duncan's circle of cash flow, right? You get the attorneys, the CPAs, the financial planners, everybody, right? In this whole like wheel. And I always believed in figure out how to make them money, how to get them business. And through the theory of reciprocity, they're going to turn around and, give you business back.
Totally.
And when I first started, I really like took that to heart and I started pushing hard at trying to find out who has what and what do they need, or what can I, pull from what they already have to offer somewhere else. And and it's always talked about. It sounds like a wonderful thing, but very few people actually ever do it. So how I don't know how to make this do you guys actually do that like aggressively, or is that just a thing you guys say and then only if somebody asks for it?
No, 100%. I can show you my calendar. I mean, we are kind of how many introductions, our team's able to make to ancillary kind of business partners.
Okay.
That's a big focus for us. It's kind of go back to, you think about an originator. Originator, in my opinion, has the ability to be the quarterback of all of it. They see the asset side, they see the liability side. We see the tax returns, we see the savings account, we see the 401k, we see the checking and savings
All of
accounts,
it.
we
Yeah.
see the brokerage, right? There's not another professional who does. And so my background was financial planning. I held a series 7, 66, 50, 31. I can talk that talk. I can speak that
Yeah.
lingo. The reason why I
Okay.
got out of that industry is Erin and I, my wife, we were trying to start a family and I was on the road 50, 60,000 miles a year in a car and I was never home. And so, it's hard to build a family when I'm at a hotel in Houston and she's in San Antonio or wherever she was. It was hard to do that. And so my wife is a title attorney by trade. She was, and I was mentioning my team. I didn't even add this. My wife is actually on my team now as our business development person, and she's probably the best, most important hire I could have ever hired. She's really great at a lot of things that I'm not great at, and so having her is a huge up level for us. Um,
Are you so
but
you're the quarterback though, right?
I'm the quarterback of it. Oh yeah. So like
Is
those
she the
initial.
business owner? Is she the franchise owner?
Oh, she's
Is
for
she the
sure
manager?
the franchise owner. Very first day she came in, she was like, "All right, we're making this change, this change, this change." Like Aaron's skill set, it complements what I don't do very well. Like all the systems and processes and operation part of things, that is her unique genius zone. I can give direction on like how I think it should look or how I think it should go, but the execution of it,
Yeah.
I want no part of. Like I'm not a that's not my forte at all.
Yeah.
Put me in front of people and let me talk to people and we'll grow. But the more I'm on the back end doing that type of stuff, like I'm going to be the roadblock for everything.
Okay, so let's explore it a little bit more because I think it's a lost art that a lot of people haven't done, and there's so much lead gen these days. But the true old school advisor, right, like you and I, we have to go out and we have to make relationships so that we can grow multiple relationships. And you actively do this, and you even have a person that does it, which I think is fantastic. Who is responsible for going out and making the relationships come to life, right? Because it's like, how do you even meet these people? What's
Yeah,
the
great
system you
question. So that would be my job, and it will be Erin's job, my wife, as biz dev, right? I'm ultimately the closer of those meetings, though. That's where I shine. That's where I excel. That's where I get to show the true benefit and value. But a simple place for people to start is go through your database. And if you never ask the question of, "Hey, are you working with a financial planner currently?" Ask that question, and then depending on what they tell you, yes, great. Hey, Dino, how would you rate that individual? Would would they be an 8, 10, 9? Where are they at? And you're looking for people that are 8 and higher. And if they tell you, "Oh, yeah, this person's a 10, like, I love this person," this next question is the most critical question. Do you think it would be a good idea for me to connect with that individual? And then pause. And th're gonna write back or say back, "Yes." As soon as they do, there's your opportunity to pick up the phone and call, "Hey, Dino, I'm the mortgage advisor that was working with Johnny who bought at 123 Main Street. He thought it would be a great idea for you and I to connect. I'm just reaching out at his recommendation. What do the next couple of weeks look like for you for us to grab coffee or me come by your office?"
Yeah.
It's as
You know,
simple as that.
you know what I used to do? I'll start with when a client ever called or a realtor ever called and said, I got a referral for you. I would never allow them to just say, here's who it is. I would always force them to do an introduction because
Yes.
it's more powerful. So same
Way more
thing,
powerful.
CPAs, financial planners. Can you please introduce me? And then I'll take over from there. So I think it's
100%.
a really simple way to go for advisors listening right now that want to expand how they do business and get into this. self-gen type
Sure.
of, and I always, and I hate acting like this, but self-gen to me is a career, lead gen is a job, right? So
100%.
it's a
100%.
really easy way. Like you said, we have access to everything in a
Everything.
client's loan application. Use it to your advantage, right? And ask
Mhm.
for the introduction.
Mhm. Look at the tax return. They have a CPA on there.
Yeah.
They have a
And
CPA.
ask them, are they happy with their CPA, right? That was my
That
thing first is, are you happy? And if
Mhm.
you are, then can I have an introduction, right?
Exactly. Yep.
So
Totally agree with that. Another way that they can do it, especially right now with refis, I feel like this is where a lot of advisors miss is clients saving $700 a month now.
mhm.
That's all they focus on is, "Hey, you're saving $700 a month." But how about we take it another step and say, "What's your plan for that 700? Are you planning on reinvesting it back into the mortgage to shorten your term? If so, this is what you're costing yourself in opportunity cost by not placing that money with your advisor. Have you
Yeah.
thought about placing it with your advisor? Do we have a 529 plan set up for your kiddos? Do we have an UTMA account?" Like, we need to be the ones that help quarterback what that
Yeah.
decision is going to look like. And maybe you pick up the phone and call their advisor and say, "Hey, Dino, I just helped Johnny and his family save $700 a month. Now might be an opportune time for you to reach out to them to let them know what your plan is with that money." What financial planner is not going to love that phone call? You're helping them uncover new assets without taking on new clients, and you're helping that client grow their generational wealth. I mean, that's a win for everybody.
I think it's I, I can kind of hear in the back of my ear right now somebody listening saying, "Yeah, but you used to be a financial planner. It's easy for you to talk like that." And I'll say, "Okay, you're right. You have more experience, right? I didn't necessarily have the experience, but over the years I gained it. And all I can say to anybody asking that question right now is, well, go out there and learn. Go out
That's
there
it.
and learn their language and learn how to talk like that so that you can jump in and do that. It's not that hard. And you don't have to be the financial planner. That's not your
No,
job.
no,
Your
I'm not
job,
quarterbacking the investments at all,
that's right. And
at all.
our job, right? Everybody listening right now, our job is to reduce debt. Their job is to increase wealth. Let's work together because you can increase wealth so much faster when you don't have debt,
Correct.
right? And
And
I
here's
think
the
that's
other
the mentality. If you're listening, that's the mentality you got to have. Just
100%.
realize that you're the debt reducer. Somebody else is the wealth increaser, right? So
Mhm.
it's not hard.
Mhm. And it can be intimidating, right? Don't put them on a pedestal. Don't. Like, that's a mistake if you're doing that. You're knowledgeable just as well in what you do and what your craft is. Believe in that because they don't. Even though they're financial advisors, they handle assets. They don't handle liabilities. They're not a debt advisor. They don't
Yeah.
know what the appropriate strategy is. You'll find now I've had some financial planners tell their client they need to pay cash for their house. And I look at the client and I'm like, why?
Yeah.
And then we'll go through it. And at the end of the day, it's like, man, even with rates at 6%, right? If you're in that 25, 35, 40% tax bracket, there's massive opportunity cost by not writing off that mortgage interest. And so when I show those numbers, it's like your effective tax or your effective interest rate is really closer to 4.5 or 4.25%. Mr. Advisor, can you out earn 4.25%? If you say no to that, well, I'm telling the client to leave and go to a new advisor, number one, but they should be able to out earn that. And then for anybody that's wanting to go prospect financial planners, I think you need to have a case study or two, 30 versus 15, what you're doing with a refi scenario, how you're reinvesting those monies. When you can actually put that on paper and you can record a video and send that to the financial planner, I would put a subject line like, "Hey, is your client, I'm trying to think how to explain this. Is your client, what's the opportunity cost of your client prepaying their mortgage?" Every advisor is going to open that video and watch it and then
Yeah.
show the case study. What is the opportunity cost of the family?
Yeah. I'm going to tell a quick little story, and then I'm going to back into what we're talking about. Years and years and years ago, there was a guy named Joe Stump, and he ran a coaching program called By Referral Only. And he said something. This is really early on in my career, but he said something that resonated with me. He was trying to teach us all that we need to be professionals, that we need to be at that same level as an attorney or a financial planner or anybody you're putting up on a pedestal,
Hmm.
right? Like you have to be at that same level. If you start degrading yourself down to this level, you'll never make it. But he said, "Hey, very first thing you got to do is like get rid of that whole I'm open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Like that's ridiculous. You ever see an attorney advertising that they're open all the time? You ever see a CPA or no. And you know what? Here's the one thing that nobody ever does with those professionals. Nobody ever wastes their time. They don't. But you got up on a Saturday, pre-qualified somebody, and then they left you.
Yep.
It happened, taught you a valuable lesson, and you became a better
Yep.
person because of it. But if you
Ask
don't
for that
become a better
commitment.
person of it, because of it, then you failed. So here's my advice to everybody right now is elevate yourself to the same level as these people, but you gotta act like it too. Don't say you're open 7 days a week and don't start working on Sundays just because, right? You'll never get respected the same way. But with that said, now I'm gonna back into all this. Loan officers, mortgage advisors, whatever you want to call them, there's one thing that they do a piss poor job with: collaborating. They don't collaborate.
Yep.
Financial planners collaborate with CPAs. Financial planners collaborate with attorneys, tax attorneys, estate attorneys, you name it, right? They form a group and they collaborate because that's the right way to do it. But yet, for whatever reason, a mortgage advisor does not collaborate, and he's missing out on opportunities because of it. Get
Correct.
yourself that same level as these professionals and then collaborate with them on every single deal. A financial planner grabs a new client. What does he do? He says, "You don't have a trust. You don't have a will. We got to get you set up for that. You got three XYs, four businesses, and five properties. Okay, we're going to put you with this attorney. you you got one house and the same wife and one job. We're going to put you with this attorney where you don't have to pay that much money, right? But
Yeah.
that's something you should be quarterbacking, right? Not waiting for the financial advisor to do it. Because just like
Totally
Justin
agree.
said here, you got the insight first. Get on it. Collaborate.
Yeah, I love what you said there. One of the best parts about working with financial planners is they don't work weekends. And typically, they don't know a ton of mortgage advisors. So they're referring one, right? It's a stronger referral, especially when you show time and time again that they can trust you. Once those doors open, it's very, very, very difficult for anybody to step in,
Yeah.
because they just don't run in the same circle. They don't know as many mortgage people. And then the other part is they don't work on weekends. So that's why I like financial planners quite a bit, right? My weekends are important to me. Young family, three little kids, 7, 5, and 3, and I don't want to give up those times. Like that. That to me is too important.
Yeah. It's awesome, man. If I could take one thing back, it would be my imbalance of work life for way too long. I do believe there's times in a person's career there has to be a little imbalance. There's no way around it. Or when interest rates are under 3%, you just got to work your ass off. Like
You
it,
admit it.
you take advantage of opportunities like that. A little bit of imbalance is game changing for life after that, right? So
No
so
doubt.
there's times, but my one big regret is that I did it for too long. So I really try now to when I get a chance to coach anybody or mentor anybody, it's you build systems that will guardrail you against imbalance. Build systems that'll help you to explode. And I learned this a long time ago. Again, Todd Duncan. It was one of his sales mastery seminars. It was slow down to speed up, and it was one of my first ones that I went to for him. And I remember sitting there, I was like, "What is this dude talking about? I'm not here to slow down. I'm here to speed up. Like, give me what it takes to go faster." And then after like 2 days, I was finally getting it. I need to slow down, build the systems so I can speed up. Because without them, all I'm doing is working more hours.
That's
Doesn't
it.
work.
No, trading time for money.
Yeah.
Trading time for money. I learned that this year. In November, not this past one, but a year ago, I went on a L360 retreat with Tim Brahim, and it
Yeah.
was me and 11 other individuals went down to Costa Rica, And man, I was so excited to go to this because Tim is a master originator, very, very, very successful. The thing I got out of that program wasn't business related. It was personal. It was, what am I doing to take care of myself? I was so focused early in my career on money and numbers and what's my loan volume at. If I'm not at a certain level, like I'm not as good of a person. But I let myself go, man. Like I wasn't exercising, I wasn't sleeping, I was working around the clock during 2020, 2021. I didn't have a team, so all that stuff was on me. Um, but what I learned in that experience, the L360 experience, it, it it wasn't business for me. It was more personal and how I can take care of myself. And I have to take care of myself to show up and take care of my family, my referral partners, my clients. And if I'm not doing that, it's gonna go away at some point. And so for me, it just kind of really shifted and changed my perspective. I was stuck at the office, man, till 7 o'clock, 6:30 most nights, and my wife was sending me text messages every day. It's that dreaded text message. What time are you going to be home? It's like, I have no idea. I have so much work to do. Now, man, I leave the office at 4 o'clock, 4:30, go pick up my kids, go to the baseball field, go throw the ball around, go hit. And I wouldn't trade it for the world. And the other cool part of it is business has continued to grow. We haven't taken a step back because of that.
Yeah. Okay, but I'm gonna play devil's advocate, okay? And you're gonna coach somebody through this. Because once again, I can hear back some listener right now saying, "Yeah, you got a team of 4 people.
Yep.
I can't afford that.
Yeah.
What do I do?"
Start small. You don't need a team of four. Have a team of one.
So what's the most important person out of that 4?
Ooh. This is tricky. My wife's on my team, Dino. The position that I feel like is the most important is somebody that can get you out of pre-approving loans, looking at documents, chasing documents. If you can get out of that and you can trust somebody to take care of that, um, I don't know if that's kind of a blended production partner two, LP2 processor type. I think somebody taking things from contract to close is also super important. So I'd kind of say one of those two, and if they can do both, great. The caveat to that would be not even caveat, but what I would caution somebody with that is there's going to come a point where that person has to pick what's most important. Is it pre-approving this loan file, or is it submitting this loan file, getting the appraisal, getting the title ordered, and all of that stuff? So I think if you could combine the position and the person that's in that role has the priorities right about what's most important, great. I think if you can spread that amongst two people, even better, because now they don't have to pick.
So, I've been in the IMB world, but I've been in the broker world for a heck of a lot longer,
Okay.
and I'll give my take on it as well.
Yeah.
Uh, I have a team of 2. I don't originate anymore, so they do all of it now, but even when we were producing at big numbers, it was 3 of us. At one point 4, but, including me though. So all I did, my genius
Yeah.
zone was talking to people. If I ever got out of that, I was failing. And quite honestly, if you want to talk about bottleneck, put a file in front of me and ask me to put it together. I will be the bottleneck, right? And I'll probably
Yes.
screw it up. And that's fine. Like that's where you need to get as an originator. That's where you need to get to the point where you're not the one doing the files. So maybe, and everybody's structure is a little bit different, but in my world, what you can do, I think a super really important one is I call them production partner, LOA. Let's just call them an LOA for simple terms. Somebody that can take the handoff. You talk, you take your notes, you send it to your LOA. This is my structure personally. The LOA sends out the email. This is the needs list, the link, the download button, everything, right? Like they get the file back. And in my world, just how I work, we didn't work on anything until a client actually became a client, right? They were just a prospect. The second they sent in their documents, and it sounds terrible. The second they sent in their documents, they were worthy of us spending more time working for them, right? And on their file. So we wouldn't touch it any more than me doing a 20 to 30 minute phone call, the email going out, a little follow up, but you're not a client to us until you've demonstrated that you want to be our client. From there, the LOA puts everything together. If you don't have money, I'll give you a little hack. There's contract processors out there that do a great job and they don't get paid unless the deal closes. You can hire a great contract processor. I've had several over the years, and it doesn't cost you a penny unless it closes. Now that's being effective and not having to commit. But I'll tell you one more thing. Throughout the years, right? Every time I committed to hiring somebody new, it's like magic, your business grows.
Yep.
Unless you suck at whatever it is you do, okay. But my dad told me this, another little story, because it just falls right in line. My dad told me one day, he's like, son, because I was always like an entrepreneur. I always wanted, and he's like, son, listen, because I'll give you some really simple advice. You want to make more money? He said, get married. He goes, I know who you are as a man. When you get married, you're going to find yourself making a lot more money. And he goes, you want to make more money? He goes, have a baby. You
Yep.
want to make more money? Have another baby.
Yep.
And so on, right? So same thing, if we take that same exact scenario, and you wanna make more money, get married. Treat this
Mhm.
like a real relationship,
Mhm.
a real career. It's not just a job. And then you wanna
Correct.
make more money, have a baby, hire somebody. You wanna make more money, hire somebody else. Look at Justin, man. He's been having babies after babies. That's why his business keeps growing, and in a time that everybody else is complaining about their business.
Yep.
So don't be afraid of it, but I get it. Money can be tight for a lot of people. It's scary to hire a lot of people. So you can start small, just like Justin said. Hire the person that I think the best way to say it is hire the person that fills your biggest weakness,
Yeah. Totally agree. The
right?
the person that's gonna give you more of your time back, I think is the most critical. So I would maybe, go through a week, write down what you're doing every 30 minutes. You doing the green kind of money making activities or your activities red? Like where are you spending your
Yeah.
time? I love what you said about the contract processor. If you're not able to do that and maybe you're in the IMB world, I don't know. Um, join forces with another branch. See if you can have a dedicated person and both of you guys can pay them or three of you can pay them what that person needs. That's another way that you can do it. My customer success manager, she's not solely mine. We don't have enough business to kind of keep her to where she's just mine, right? She's an enterprise, but she's on my team and she handles all the post closing stuff for me, but it's not necessarily a hit or a cost to the P&L. Um, I think when you get to probably 5 loans, you should hire your first, and that's gonna help you go to 10, and then when you get to 10, hire the second, or maybe, 8 loans, get to the second. But that's how you're gonna grow. If you don't and there's no problem with this, but if you don't do that, you're gonna stay stuck. There's only a certain number
Yeah.
of loans that I can do, that you can do, that everybody could do, on our own. And so I've always been of the mindset that if we truly feel like we're the most valuable originator to families, why would we not want to help more? And I think it's selfish to sit there and say, no, I'm only going to do 5 because I'm terrified to hire somebody when that person's what's going to free you up to allow you to help
Yeah.
more families.
Yeah. I'll say too, when I was doing 30 million, I was working my ass off.
Oh
When I
yeah.
was doing 50 million, I was working my tail off. And then I seeked coaching, and I didn't seek coaching to learn how to do loans better. I seeked coaching to learn how to manage systems and people better. And I still remember, probably the most powerful thing I've ever done to grow my business is not go through my email. Soon as I relinquished this beast called email, as soon as I relinquished that, all of a sudden, man, I had all this free time to actually work on things that mattered, things that
Yeah.
make me money. And that was probably the number one thing, right? So get rid of the time sucks. Your job is to move the big boulders. Other people can move the rest of the stuff, but step out of your business, step out of it, and ask yourself, how can I restructure things? And I can almost for certain guarantee that every single person can restructure something because times have changed a lot. So don't ever get stuck doing the same thing the exact same way forever. Things change. Always step out of your business every so often and ask yourself, if I had to restart this business right now, what would it look like? How would I structure it? And then start making changes. So that's number one. And number two, these systems that we're talking about, seek mentorship, seek coaching, because we don't just inherently know all the systems. You can get a lot of free advice by podcasts like this. Dave Savage has a great one too. And
Yep.
he's constantly asking top producers how they do it, details of how they do their business. You can learn an awful lot from that. And don't be afraid. I can't tell you how many times I've actually just randomly called top producers over the years, said, "Hey, I'd love to learn from you. Do
Yeah.
you have a little time?" Right. And I'll tell a quick story here just because he's from Neo, Josh Metal. At one time, the only time I've worked at an IMB, we worked at the same company. And Josh was, if he was always the top producer, right? Always, usually number one. Every once in a while, you got to number two or three, but always in the top. And I was like, not only does this guy do killer business, but he's good looking. He's got a great, set of hair on him, and he's got like a six pack. I'm like, what the hell does this guy do? Like, what?
Oh yeah.
How? Right? Like,
Oh yeah.
how? And one day I remember just calling him and asking him, hey, can you, and I had met him at this point, right? I knew him, but I said, can we set a little time aside? I'd love to just pick your brain. And he went through his entire day, right? I'll tell you this, most top producers are more than willing to help somebody that seeks help.
1,000%. A
Got to seek it.
1,000%.
Yeah.
Did the same thing
So
with Jeremy Forcier. Did the same thing with Ryan. Called him out of the blue. It was like, "Hey, I love what
best
you
thing you
just
ever did,
posted on this
right?
video. Like, can I get time on your calendar?" They're all receptive to it every single
All of
time.
them. And so I'm gonna finish this story with Josh because it was great. It was worth thousands of dollars to me. He went through his day. I'm like, I do that, I do that, I do that. But I'm thinking to myself, but he must do it better because
Yep.
he's doing a lot more business than I am, right? But then he got to this one piece that I didn't do. Every day for 2 hours, he said he'd put his phone in the drawer, close the door, and everybody knew you don't bother him unless there's a fire. What do you do during that time? I make phone calls, outbound phone calls, and that's it. I was like, outbound phone calls. I mean, I do that throughout the day, all day long, right? But it's not intentional. And I think there's something powerful about doing things that are intentional. So I'm not going to deny it sounds simple, but it's not.
Mm-mm.
Whatever it is that's in here prevents you most of the time for doing things, even the simple things like calling people you already know. So, anyways, I had to clear out my email so I wouldn't have distraction. I had to create an email list. I had to create a call list, one for clients. I had to create another call. Like 2 weeks later, I finally got around to doing this, right? And on the first day, I was like, all right, who am I going to call first, right? So I called the client, and lo and behold, it was a good call. It was really nice. The person was happy to hear from me. We had a great conversation. I'm like, who am I going to call next? And I realized I'm not going to call another client. I'm now going to call the referring agent because all of my business was referral. So I called the referring agent. Hey, just want to let you know I spoke to this guy. He said to say hi. Just wanted to give you a quick update. He's had another kid. He got a job, doing this or whatever it might be. Right. But I had a nice interaction with a past client. And then I had a purposeful phone call with a referral partner to fill him in. Is that valuable to the referral partner? Yes. Does that show that you're a team player? Yeah, it does. In 2 hours, I made $20,000 that I
Isn't that
wouldn't have
crazy?
made. I wouldn't have made. One of the realtors even said, and this, keep in mind, this is a little not too long after 2008, where most people were out of business. One of the realtors even said, "Oh, I wasn't sure if you were even doing loans or not." I mean, nobody else is. Didn't even know I was doing loans. I mean, felt like a complete failure that somebody didn't know that I do loans.
Mhm.
Anyways, it didn't take much, man. 2 hours, $20,000. No wonder he was doing so much more business than I was. He was doing this every single day.
Yeah.
Doesn't take much, guys, but Get out of your head, whatever it is that's causing you to not do things, seek mentorship, create systems, and get after it.
Totally agree with everything you just said, and I would add to, the mental part of it. I've had roadblocks with picking up the phone. What I will say that helps is affirmations. It's one of the first things that I do in the morning. I even have my 7-year-old and my 5-year-old. They have affirmations in their bedroom, and we read them before they go to school, we read them before they go to bed. And
Nice.
it's all about being kind to yourself, right? Like, I've had those moments where I'm like, "Gosh, that was why did I do that? What an idiot. Why would I say that?" Whatever. I've also had those roadblocks where it's, "Hey, I don't really wanna call this top agent because 'cause they've got this business partner that they've been with for 5 years, and, that guy's a whale of a producer. Why like, what are they gonna wanna talk to me for?" Pick up the phone and start being nice to yourself. Start being kind to yourself. Tell yourself how valuable you are to agent partners. That's why they need to work with you. And if they're not open to it, cool. Not yet.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Yeah.
But there's plenty
But,
of other people you can call.
but you said something earlier. You were talking about financial planners and you said, do yourself a favor and do a couple case studies. You're not just randomly calling somebody without having something to say.
Mm-mm. Not at all.
First of all, I would say start, and you said this too, actually, earlier on, start with everybody you know. I mean, you've already done loans for people, call them. You've already partnered with some realtors or even by mistake, like they came along with the deal. So you still worked with them, whatever that situation might be, you have a connection, make it,
Totally.
reaffirm it, right? Get after it. And
Yes.
then if you're going to go true old school and cold call. I loved what you said about that. Do a couple case studies, put together a formula of something that they're going to want to learn from, right? And then go. Don't just randomly call. Hi, my name's Dino. I do loans. You got great service. We got great rates. I'm
Right.
always available, right? Like that's the stupid stuff that you're going to get hung up on.
I saw somebody put out a flyer the other day and it said available 24/7 with the phone number underneath it. And I just was like, oh, that's not a value prop.
Yeah.
Availability means you don't have any business, right? Like, you don't pick up the phone and automatically get your doctor on the phone. You have to talk to the nurse. You have to schedule an appointment. Like,
Yeah.
why are we any different?
Yeah.
I don't feel like we are. And then starting with people that you know. So here's one thing is how many people do you know that live in a home that you did not help buy that home? More than likely, they worked with a real estate agent. Hey, Dino, we've been friends for a couple of years, man. I know you own your home. Did y'all use a real estate agent that helped you buy that home? Great. Hey, who was that? Do you have did you have a fun experience? What was your experience like? Get that information and then ask the simple question again. Do you think it'd be a good idea for her and I to connect or he and I to connect? Yes. Great. Now it's no longer a cold call. Now it's pick up the phone, call. Hey, Dino told me you were great. He thought it would be a great idea for us to connect and meet. What does your calendar look like? They're not going to say no to you because they feel like they owe it to Dino to meet with you.
Yeah. And if they do, what do? You move on. Go to the next
Yeah.
one.
If they say no, you ask them why. Like, Dino thought it'd be a great idea for us to meet. Why don't you want to meet?
I got a quick question to ask you. We'll see if my theory comes together. How long have you been married?
Almost 11 years. Had to
And
think
how
about
did
that
you meet
one.
your wife?
She was the prettiest girl at school. On campus, she was a soccer player. I was playing baseball at the time. We were friends for quite a while, and she was dating somebody else. They had broken up, and man, it was about 18 months before we started dating.
All right. So, how many realtors already have a lender that they work with? Quite a few.
They all say they do
And how many of them break up
pretty frequently.
pretty frequently? Some of them stay married for a long time. Some of them stay married forever, right? And I can respect that, and I can even appreciate it and love it and say congrats. But if you're going to break up with your lender, I'm going to pounce. I'm going to be on it.
Mhm. I'm gonna be
So
ready.
in today's world, I was doing a training for a bunch of realtors. It was all on Zoom, and they were all younger, and they were all brand new. And I was sitting there talking to them, and I could just see like this blank stare in their eyes. They were all guys, so I tried to relate to them, and I'm like, all right, let's pretend you were at a bar trying to pick up a girl. And I go into this whole thing, man, that stare, that blink just got even worse. They had no idea. Nobody knows how to hunt anymore.
That's the thing. That's the thing. You gotta be a hunter.
You
You gotta
gotta
be able
hunt.
to put yourself out there and let it be known. Like, I don't think there's any problem with picking up the phone, calling a top agent and say, "Hey, I have a coach. His name's Dino. Dino is pushing me to grow my business by 50%." That's a big jump. You're an agent who has a very successful business. You and I have not yet met, but I wanted to reach out because XYZ agent over here told me you're an incredible person and that you're somebody I should meet. Oh, I already have a lender. Do you know, I'm not even talking about a partnership yet. Before I even decide to work with a real estate agent, I have to meet them first. I got to make sure that their values align with what I do and how I do it. And if it does, great. If it doesn't, hey, well, at least we know each other. I'm sure you're going to get a pre-approval letter with my name on it at some point, and we'll have a connection in the industry.
Yeah. Yeah. And that goes back to what I said at the very beginning. If you remember, I said, even when somebody wants to refer me a client, I never just accept it that way. I always make them introduce me.
Yes, 1000%. We do the same thing. All of our agents do an email. Um, you know, put us on an email chain
Yeah.
together. And the reason for that is I don't manage my email, but my team does, and they'll be a lot quicker because I'm typically, in conversion meetings, in Zoom meetings, trying to have pre-purchase consultations
Yeah.
or dreams and goals calls with families. But when that lead comes in, my loan partner knows there's a 5-minute response time. Like, she's on it.
Yeah. All right. I got two more questions. And the second one, the last one is my favorite. First
Okay.
one's easy. What's your favorite book?
Ooh, favorite book.
Or a couple if that's what you have, if you can't decide.
So I don't know if this is gonna be my favorite, but I just started Science of Scaling.
Yeah.
Bill Hart, I saw him at Momentum Builder, and he was like, "You have to read this book." So far, it's been great. Um,
I thought it started off a little slow,
did you?
personally. Yeah.
I'm not all the way through, so give me a little bit on that one. Seven Levels of
But
Communication
it
was a
turned out to be good, but it started out slow for me, and I
okay,
don't know if it's just the mindset I was in or what, but it did turn out to be good, so I would still recommend it to everybody.
okay. Um, Seven Levels of Communication is a great one. The Four Agreements,
Oh, yeah.
um, super, super, super great book.
My favorite question. You ready?
Okay, ready?
You have 3 kids and a great wife,
Yes.
but I'm gonna pick you up out of Texas. I'm gonna go drop you off in some other state, and I'm
Hmm.
gonna let you talk to your family, but you're not gonna be able to see them again until you make $1,000,000 closing loans. You don't know anybody where I'm taking you. You don't have a lot of money. You have just enough so that you can comfortably live without being, broke and not having any money to do anything, but you don't have a lot. So you can't just go spend a bunch of money meeting people and doing stuff, right? How are you going to make $1,000,000?
So not what state am I going to, but how am I going to make 1,000,000 bucks?
I'm just, it doesn't really matter what state. I'm just going to pick you up and put you somewhere where you don't know anybody.
Okay. I am gonna go to open houses. Do I have Redder? Can I use Redder?
You got a little bit of money. So if that's worth it
Okay.
to you,
Redder's gonna be a place where I can go and figure out who's who. Um, I'm definitely gonna go into open houses. I'm gonna try and meet people face to face. I'm gonna go to financial advisor's office. Edward Jones, I think would be a great one. RIAs.
you're just going to
Um,
walk in or what are you going to do?
just gonna walk in, go introduce myself, bring something. I'll typically with a financial planner, I think like a playbook makes a lot of sense, right? Give them kind of your resume. Who are you? Let them know. Like for me, having a Series 7, 66, 50, and a 31 and being able to talk that language, super important for that advisor to know I'm not just, for lack of a better word, some schmuck off the side of the street, right? Like I actually know finance. Um, and then the other thing I try to put in there is a PLP, perfect loan process, so they can see step by step what families will go through, and then the case studies. I think you present that to 100 different financial planners offices. You're going to get some deals out of that. You're going to get some opportunities to go in and present and teach CE classes and build relationships with those guys. Um, What else would I do? Um, do I have my database with me?
Nope.
I don't have my
Gotta
database
meet
with me
everybody
either.
brand new, man. You're
Okay.
brand new in the business. That's what
Okay.
I'm getting at with this, right? You're brand new. What if somebody's watching right now, whether they're brand new or a couple years in, I want them to get something out of this because it's easy for you and I, who has a database now. We've already put all that time in. It's easy for us to say we're going to go make all these phone calls to everybody we've done loans for. And
Yeah.
I made 20 grand. This is over a decade ago, but I made over 10 grand just in 2 hours because I already had a database.
Yep.
I'm not lucky. I worked hard for it, but somebody's brand new. What are we teaching them right now? Like,
Yeah.
how are they going to go do
Okay.
it?
I get that.
And you
Okay.
said
So
you said open houses, right? So what does your
open
open house
houses.
game look like?
So going in and kind of doing a recording, right, of the house and putting that on your social media and kind of making a like an A versus B, like, hey, do you like this house or do you like this house? Right.
Oh,
Trying to get some communication going there, but making sure that you tag that agent. Um, I think that's one really great strategy. A lot of times you'll find that, going into the open house is a little bit intimidating. There doesn't need to be you don't need to be intimidated by it. A lot of times originators aren't there. And especially if you can take something that's valuable and help kind of put that property on the map, help get it sold quicker, the agent's going to remember that you came by. And so I would say, don't be fearful of going into open houses. You need to get belly to belly and face to face with people. Realtors are no different. That's one strategy that I would go with. The financial planner strategy. Like if I could start my business over, that's probably where I would have started first, is getting connections there, because if they have 200 families that they're helping, 10% of those are going to move every year, right? Like there's 20 people that you could get a warm introduction to, that aren't going to be referred out to two or three other lenders. They're just not. That's not what financial planners do. When they make an introduction, when they make a referral, they make a very strong introduction, a very strong referral.
yeah.
Second piece is when you get your first deal with real estate agent, whatever, right? Um, I would make sure that when you are talking to the client, you ask them a question that is going to generate referrals for that realtor partner. And it's very simple. It's, hey, Dino, my goal with all of this, a lot of times people come to me and they ask, what can I get Susie for, a closing gift, because she's a great agent and I want to thank her. Um, you know, what I can tell you is those agents, they don't want wine, they don't want cheese, they want introductions to your network. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to mail you a card to your house. It's going to have a name, it's going to have an email, and it's going to have a phone number. Throughout this transaction, if you can help me put three names on this card and three phone numbers and three emails, and then hand deliver that to your agent at the closing table, I don't think there's a better gift that you could give her. So asking for those introductions for your referral partners, I think is something that's super, super critical. Um, The next thing that I would do is I would focus on pain points of customers. They're worried about interest rates, they're worried about recessions, they're worried about home prices crashing. Be able to debunk those. Be able to provide confidence. And when you go to the open house, go in and talk to the agent and ask the agent who in the last 12 months has told you that they want to wait for rates to come down. They're worried about home prices and they're worried about a recession or a housing crash. Who in the last 12 months has told you that? Because they've talked to somebody. If they're an agent and they're still in the game, they've talked to somebody in the last 12 months that's told them that. That's when you make the big ask and say, hey, let me show you how valuable I can be for your business. Would you mind making an introduction to that family for me? And let me show you what we can do. I did that during 23. Man, I was going after an agent. He's a nice guy. We kind of ran in the same circles, but we didn't work together. And so I just asked him that question. He sent me three people, and all three of those people closed within 90 days. He doesn't work with anybody
It's
else.
great. It's great. You know what else I found was interesting was that your mind didn't go straight to the consumer. Your mind went straight to the referral partner.
That's the client.
That's the long-term vision. That's why you're successful today. Whoever goes directly after the consumer, it's not that they can't be successful and all that, but it's not the long term, right?
Mm-mm.
Unless you have a super strong game with your there's before, during, after. When your after is strong and your game is your playbook and you're constantly going after him to grow your database, great. But what I found is most people that are really good at just going direct to consumer don't have a good game on the back end. Got
No,
to develop the entire game.
it's not their forte. They just care about the deal and the transaction getting done, right? Like, it's kind of what we talked about at the top of the hour. It's not a right or a wrong way. It's what you want. And for me, I'm not transactional. I'm relational. I want the
Yeah.
relationship driven, what's the word? Time and tested, or, something like
Yeah.
that. I can't remember the acronym or the phrase for that, but um, that's just my approach to the business. It's very relational. It's not
Yeah.
transactional. It's when somebody thinks about real estate and finance, I want to be the first person they think of.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, dude, listen, I really appreciate you coming on. That was awesome, man. I think you gave a lot of listeners something to think about. So that's great.
I appreciate that, man. Thanks for the questions. Thanks for having me on. Enjoy getting to meet you and connect. And man, we'll do it again anytime you want.
And hey, if somebody wants to seek you out for mentorship, just ask a few questions. It's the best way for somebody to find you.
Instagram is the best. Padron Loans is my handle. I think that's what it's called. I'm 37, man. I'm not with the Instagram game. But Padron Loans is where I'm at on Instagram. Reach out there, send me a DM, follow. I'll follow you back. And happy to help. I've had several people in the speaking things that I've been able to do over the last couple months. A lot of people have reached out, and it's been fun. Like, it's been fun for me to kind of look back and say, okay, I remember being in that seat. I remember having that
Yeah.
same feeling. Man, this is what I did to get out of it. And I don't know if it's going to work for you, but try it. Like,
Yeah.
try it. I love getting to share that. So
And guys, we're going to have all of Justin's information on our website as well. It's just my full name, dinokatsiametis.com. You'll see all our podcasts there. We're all over social media. So check us out. Remember, we're here to empower, equip, and educate you the way lending should be done. And there is a should be, right? There is a better way of doing it. It's not always about how to do loans better. It's about the systems. It's about the business side of it. How you do business matters and the integrity you have when you do it. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you do, please let us know. Let the world know. Share it and like it and comment and everything else. So appreciate it. We'll see you guys next time.